thing is, Gary, are you ready?
I'm ready. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to day 4, stage 4, Dakar 2018. With me is Colin.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Konnichiwa, Toyota. Bonsoir, mon bel ami. How's it, Hotspot? Hola, senor. We've gone through a couple of the languages. It's great fun for me. We've found a new spot. Well picked, Gary.
Okay,
Really
before you get on, I just want to say hi to a couple of people. So I'm going to say hi to Benny Bell. Thanks for being online and watching with us. As well as Mark Edwards. Thanks for your kind comments yesterday afternoon. And then to Simon Murray, sitting all the way in Dubai, preparing for the Dubai 24-hour. Hi, Simon. How are you? All the best for tomorrow, for the weekend. And to Paula Piazzamuso. Paula, I don't know where you guys are sitting, but if it's still in Cape Town, say hi to all the people in Cape Town from us. Back to you.
I like that Zach Speed escort he's got going. So today's stage, 330 kilometers. They've got it's looping back to San Juan de Marco. So they do the stage and then they got a liaison.
Okay.
Wrong way around. But let's just go back to a couple of, and link in back into yesterday. We spoke about the super soft sand. And of course, NASA and Matthew won yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting, Gary. We've got 3 days so far. Day 4 was a blast off the beach, and trying to hark back to days on in Dubai, the last day where they used to have a mass start on the beach. They had the cars started 4 cars in a row.
Okay.
It would have been the most interesting thing for Glen Hall. For years, they've developed the motor, the package, the suspension on acceleration. Today was the first time ever that there was a drag race, a proper drag race between the cars.
Is this the only one they're doing it in Dakar, or don't we know that yet? Or could it be something else later?
Gary, I'm going to go with this is the only one that they're doing it. But you know what? We'll have a little bit of correction. The other thing we spoke about yesterday was the soft sand. Now, today, the sand is even softer. And for me, one of those saddest moments yesterday was Nani Roma. A kilometer from the end.
Oh, it was a big one, eh?
Yeah. And to me, it was not so lacquer because he seemed to be, well under control, and he was moving to the right of the road, and the sand was really soft. We saw that when one of the bikes went over the jumps,
yeah,
and just went goop and got stuck in the sand. So proper powder sand, and Nani seemed to just move the car a little bit to the left, and it dug in and flipped, and so he got out of the car, but you could see he was absolutely shattered, and turns out there's head and cervical injuries. Now,
so somewhere in the neck, somewhere down the
his neck and head is sore, and those are the worst kind of injuries that you can have anything around the head. And they wear a head and neck restraint system that basically keeps the helmet from moving the head too far forward.
Isn't that similar to what in Formula 1 and car racing we call a Hans device?
Yeah.
That type. Okay, cool.
So the idea is that the worst injury you can have in a motor car or in sport is that when the torso is restrained in the seat belts and your head moves forward and it stops, but it carries on going and your head's quite heavy and it stretches the neck here, and they call it it's a hangman's injury. The hangman back in France, where we go back there, I mean, geez.
In the old days.
It stretches the neck, breaks the neck, and you die.
Okay.
So the hands is supposed to keep the helmet back and reduce that force on the neck. So that's actually really, really tragic.
But the great news was they managed to get him into the bivouac and out to hospital
and
as quickly as possible.
Out into Lima, into hospital, and I'll tell you what, he's one of the nicest, most friendly, respectful, coolest guys I've met in my life. And Nani, get well. I really hope to see you back in a car. So today I thought we should talk about bon voyage, mon ami, and that means have a good journey. And the journey
is because today most of the traveling for the cruise actually gets underway.
Yeah, no, tomorrow.
Okay, well, at the end of today's stage. But from tomorrow they hit the road.
Yeah, but Gary, we find a theme for each day. So today I thought we'd all travel.
Oh, okay. Where are you taking me?
From here to there. So each day, each team gets a book, and this is a book from last year. Those of you can see it there. It was about the Odyssey, and this is the Bible of where you go and what you do. And it goes through each day, and you'll see that here's some of an information on where you're going for the stage and what you're going to do. I actually feel like Kilroy, just my eyes sort of over there. But then, and it's got a whole lot more info of time, sunrise, sunset, and the different parts of the liaison. How many kilos you're driving from the bivouac to the start of the stage, and then the kilos of the race cars in the stage, and where you go. But it's also got, we've got to sort of, this is a service crew book mainly. So the thing is that the service crew doesn't do the same mileage necessarily as the race team.
Okay.
And they've got to, we touched on it earlier, where like tomorrow morning, cars get back, and they go through their thing, and we've done that. Wake up tomorrow morning, first thing, do a bit of bluting and all the rest of it, and we'll talk about the bivouac and the layout and where you can do all of these things, and the Hilton Hotel there. And then you go and have breakfast, and when you come out of breakfast, and the interesting thing, like now, today or tomorrow is the first day that they start going to altitude. For a couple of days they've been taking their altitude medication, and to try and acclimatize to it. And in the Toyota case, Toyota Gazoo Racing South Africa, the medication is like a cocoa tea. It's used by the locals, it's full of caffeine, it's full of herbs and stuff and all the rest of it. It works. Don't ask, sometimes we overanalyze and all the rest of it. It's
How much of that did you take last year?
No. We didn't do it. Glenn experimented. Glenn discovered it with the locals. It worked. We had some other stuff that I didn't like. It made me want to vomit a bit, and I just decided to take some cement tablets and tough it out. Luckily I won, but you've got to respect altitude. It will screw you. So they're going to land up tonight at about 2,300 meters. So for a couple of days they've been taking the medication, the supplements, and all of that to try and acclimatize to it. And anyway, so they tomorrow morning they've had their breakfast, come out of breakfast, and they've got some water. Now, when you're at altitude, you need to drink a bucket load more water. Yeah.
Okay.
So each person will get like a 6-pack of half liters of water that is brought into the country, so it doesn't tax the country's resources on the water. Then you'll go back to the vehicles. By then, the number one, the chief of the car, he's taken the covers off, started the car, warmed it up.
Okay.
And the El Ingenieros, the clever boys, the engineers, they've decided on the fuel consumption for the day, and the distance, the liaison and race stage kilometers.
Right. Okay.
So you know how much fuel in, and there'll be an instruction of 300 liters fuel in, 500 liters fuel in. Max fuel capacity is 500 liters. It's a lot of fuel in one tank. And if there's a really, really long liaison before the stage, then they'll work out just what they need and maybe refuel before the going into the stage.
All right.
So on a short stage, when in the super soft sand, the guys will be a little bit conservative because getting lost. We spoke about the desert and the beacons and getting to within 90 meters of a beacon.
That's right. Yeah.
And if you
that's the waypoint beacons we talk about. Okay.
And if you happen to go down a little valley or a ridge, and you can't get, and it might even be 10 meters away to get onto the drivable road.
Yes.
You have to go back and move around, and so you've got to leave enough. You can't assume that
error.
Absolutely, you can't assume that the guys are going to get it right. But we're talking about service crew, so they fuel the car up, warm it up. Make sure that all the energy drinks are right. They get loaded into the car, and they ice cold. There are lots of other energy drinks in bottles, so depending on liaison, the guys will get extra ice cold bottles. And then crew come out of their caravans and their mobile homes. They've had a good breakfast with the chef, remember pasta chef from yesterday. And they're into the car, and
no boiled eggs.
No, the crew, they do what they want. The race driver and co-driver. So now,
you mean they eat what they want?
What they want when they want, and
Okay.
and they get what they want. So then the race crew, the mechanics. I don't like calling them mechanics because they're not just mechanics. These guys are magicians. They are the stars. They're actually superstars. They work themselves to the bone to make sure that their car can deliver 100% for their driver and co-driver.
Just a quick one. Egon, welcome. Nice to have you back on board with us. He's asking us a question here while we're talking about the drinking of the drivers.
Yeah.
He asks, how do the drivers and navigators drink during the race? And is it a case where they have a bottle with a pump or something like that? How does it actually work?
They've got thermos flasks.
Yeah.
Because they're aluminium thermos flasks and a commercial brand.
Okay.
Readily attainable at most camping stores. Because it's lightest.
Okay.
This is Glen. Number one, got to be light. Number two, got to be effective when it comes to drivers. So it comes in it's a thermos flask. It's between half a litre and a litre, depending on what the stage is. Gets clipped into the car upside down, and then there's a tube with a butt valve in it, similar to what the guys on mountain bikes use. So then the driver decides which one he wants to drink, grabs that tube, sucks on it, and so they go.
So the drivers in cars are not using something like a camel pack that maybe the bikers might be using?
No, because they stay in their seat. So they've got the luxury of having a static bottle. And it's very similar to what they use on World Endurance Championship cars.
Okay.
So they've got a bottle and they've got a tube to suck on the bottle.
But the bikers might use something like a camel pack thing.
The bikers do have camel packs, and they go on to it.
Well, that answers Egon's question. So Egon, thanks for joining us. Nice to have you with us again.
Right, so the drivers are there, but before the drivers, you've come out of. We're talking about the crew now.
Yeah.
The Mackies, the technicians, the rocket scientists, the guys who keep these things running for 10,000 kilometers. Come out of breakfast, you grab your water, and off you go to your vehicle. You've got from a race book, and this is the race book that we had last year for Hall Speed, and in the race book, it's got where you're supposed to go and the different times that you're supposed to leave. So you know what vehicle you're in, and you know exactly what time you've got to leave. And you make sure that you are ready to roll and you go at that time. Your tent you've packed up, your mattress you've packed up, and you've put the tent and mattress into one of the trucks. There's a dedicated truck that's the tent and mattress truck.
Really?
Absolutely. And you've got a name. It's like it's so slick. No, it's not duct tape.
Duct tape with a name written on it.
No. I'll bring. It's like almost like a credit card that's with a loopy thingy on it.
Like a travel bag attachment thing.
It's properly professional.
Okay.
So you put that on your mattress and on your tent, and then it's nice to. If you've got a good tent, you look after it, and you've got a good mattress, you look after it, because those are your best friends.
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sheldon van der Linde. Sheldon, I don't know where you are. I think you might still be in the States, or you either just got back to South Africa from your testing for the Rolex 24, but nice to have you with us. Enjoy the show.
Tell you what, you guys are doing an awesome job. You make us super proud. Right, so you've now got your mattress, and if you've got a good mattress, good tent, look after it, treat it with respect, make sure it stays clean inside, and put it where exactly you know where it is. And JP, the dude inside the truck, he will, when you say, where's my tent, and he'll point you directly to the tent. So you put your tent in and you're ready to roll, and you start driving. Now, your next friend, stroke enemy, stroke irritation in the car is Trippy. And Trippy is a smart GPS device that talks to you. It gets when you turn it on and you put the code in it, it loads that day's map by instruction. So it'll tell you, go straight for 300 meters and then turn left into here and then go right, and it'll take you down the road. And when you take a wrong turn, it will beep, because you've got to stick to the route.
Okay.
And then the worst part, that's the good part about Trippy. The worst part about Trippy is the speed limit. Peru, the speed limit is, in general, on wide open roads is 100 k's an hour, and They are going to do, and I've got to look at my maps there, my notes. There's 395 Ks down the road to Kanamano tomorrow. So it's down the coastal road, and then they're going to turn left, and
They start climbing.
They start climbing. They go to 2,300 meters. So that 395 kilometers, it'll take Glenn 3.95 hours. It'll take the normal people just sort of 4.5, maybe 4 hours 45.
Okay.
Because what Trippy does is that it monitors your speed. So officially you're allowed 100 kilometers
In
an hour.
other words, it's like an onboard policeman.
Big time. And it talks to the organizers. So
You mean you've actually got somebody watching you speed, so you can't get away with it?
it was discovered by somebody in years gone by that 100 kilometers an hour could be, and for the purpose of this discussion, we'll set it at 105.
Okay.
So you could drive at 105 and get away with it, but don't go to 106, because then it will start beeping at you. And when you go to 106, it goes meh, 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 or beep, beep, beep. It beeps a bit at you. When you go a little bit faster, it goes meh.
Screams at you.
It screams, it shouts. It's got to be a female. So then you back off, and when you've gone and it screams a little bit too much, then you get a red light, which is kind of like a badge of honor, because I've got one red light, but I hadn't been reported to the
Does that
organizers
red light stay there?
for the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you each of the vehicles has got a vehicle captain, vehicle owner, kind of the guy
Right.
responsible for the vehicle, the
Okay.
number one for the
Yeah.
vehicle.
Okay.
I happened to be in Dirk van Zetswitz's VW Caravelle Auto last year as I was the guy, and so you drive first and you get the light, which is kind of, I've got my light today, woo! But don't go too much, because the penalties can range from Euro fines to exclusion. Exclusion of your race car.
Oh, not exclusion of you
Well,
and the
you-
guys working in the
No,
car. The actual race
You
car
get fined,
and that race driver gets penalized for
and
that.
ultimately both of you get told, sorry, that's it, pack up and go.
That's harsh.
Yeah, but
That is seriously harsh.
But the whole thing of Dakar is safety is a big thing, so don't speed. Right, so now you've rock and rolled, and the whole journey is about 600 odd kilometers,
Okay.
but you're now going into dodgy diesel territory. And when I say dodgy diesel territory, we sit here and we say, oh my God, I need 5 whatever parts per million sulfur diesel.
Okay, but who's running on diesel now?
Well, most of the support vehicles.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
Okay, and when you've got a new European support vehicle, they really like clean fuel, and you've got to put blue tech in it, and the diesel in South America generally runs at between 1,000 and 2,500 parts per million of sulfur.
Okay.
And we only want 50. So it's orders of magnitude dirtier, and diesels don't like it, and it clogs up the filters, and then you've got to sit in third gear and drive flat out and blow all the stuff out of it. So they then come to a pit stop, which I'll probably do at about 395, because you don't know where you're going to get fuel next.
Okay. All right.
And remember, we're now we spoke about the average speed.
Yeah.
We want to keep that high. So it's none of these, oh, we'll get there and chill out and all the rest of it. You have
All right.
a nominated ice cream getter, because it's hot there now. Last year, this time, there was mudslides and all the rest of it. And if you're in Joburg now, we've got a proper thunderstorm, and it's nice and wet here. But at the moment, it's pretty dry there, so ice creams are kind of magic. So the stop is, you've got a fueler, tires, check them, and the other thing is that when leaving,
Yeah.
in one of your vehicle that you're moving in, you've got to take your bag plus your cruise bags. So you've got
Alright,
a driver
okay.
and a navigator, and
Okay.
generally they don't travel super light, so they've got a couple of bags. So you've got 4 or 5 extra bags in the vehicle that you've got.
Yeah.
So different members of Screw scatter to a blute. They don't wear nappies. They just you a blute. Get any refreshments that you want, pay, and then get out of there. So mostly you want credit cards, but some places don't take credit cards, and then ultimately you need dollars that go. Right, and then they get to, we've spoken about the diesel, then they sit and they're going to climb. So the last 200 kilometers, they're going to climb 3,000 or 2,300 meters, get to the next bivouac.
Yeah.
And that's the end of this part of the voyage. And I think that we should save for tomorrow.
I agree with you.
The arrival.
I think that's a great idea. And to all of you that have watched us, Peter Slubbert, thanks for joining us. Lee Phillips, great to see you still online. So hi to everybody in the Mauritius for the rest of us.
If you'd like us to come and visit Lee anytime. And remember, if you've got any questions, comments, queries, or anything to add, any hints, ideas for background, if you write it down sort of somewhere over there, then Gary will pick it up. I just talk, Gary just makes stuff happen. It's awesome.
To everybody out there, thank you. We will see you tomorrow night, 1800 hours, South African time. Adios.
6 o'clock. Ciao.